Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a lovely day so far and you're enjoying the run up to Christmas. In today's video, as you can see from the title down below and the makeup that I have on my face, I'm going to be creating this sort of snowy Ice Queen snowflake inspired makeup look. All of the products that I'm using today are Drugstore. They're all super affordable products. We have a little bump in the middle where I have to take everything off and start again, but this is the finished look that I came up with. If you want to see all of the products that I'm using and how I created this, then just keep on watching. So I'm going to start with the eyes. I already have my concealer on, which is the Revolution Fast Base Concealer in the shade C0.5. Why was that like boggling my brain so much? C0.5. And the brows are the e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil in Neutral Brown and the e.l.f. Wow Brow in Brunette. And I'm just going to dive straight on in to the coloured portion of the eyes, which is the Profusion Delightful Dahlia palette. I have used this on my channel before a few times, I think, but this shade is just so pretty for this sort of like winter wonderlandy snowflake sort of look that I wanted to do, and obviously it's a very blue sort of based look. So I'm going to just be using this one. I think I may use some of my bronzer as well, but this is the only like eyeshadow that I'm going to be using today. All of the colours that I need for the look that I've got in my head. So I'm going to take a fluffy brush and I'm going to just dip very, very lightly into this shade here called Rainfall. So this is a matte shade. This purple is matte, that's called Bloom, and this darkest blue down at the end is called True. So I'm going in with Rainfall first, which is a beautiful, bright, almost like bluebell, sort of purpley blue. It's so pretty. So I'm going to take that on the end of my brush, get my mirror open, and I'm going to start working this through the crease. I'm doing the eyes first so that I can take a cotton pad and like clean up underneath, and I'm going to just build this right up. I want a lot of this colour in the crease there. So that is that one blue shade just all over the lid, obviously mostly on the outer corner, blended through the crease. And I love how these like blend out so you still get that gradient even with the one colour. That's what I really love about these Profusion eyeshadows. I'm going to just go in with a little bit of my bronzer. I'm going to be using the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer today, and I'm just going to go in with the same brush wiped off on my trouser leg. Just dip into a little bit of that and just very, very lightly buff over the edge. I just want this to blend into like the skin a little bit more and have that tiny little bit of warmth on the outside of the blue. So it just sort of neutralises it a tiny little bit, just a little bit. Can you tell the difference? I don't know. I can tell the difference. And obviously I'm not being too sort of fussy about this outer corner because I will be cleaning that up, wiping it with the micellar water once we're done. So once I'm happy with that blend, I'm going to go with a pencil brush into the shade True, this darkest blue shade, which I already know from using this palette before is incredibly pigmented. So I'm just taking that on one side of a little pencil brush. I'm going to stamp this on the lid of the outer corner to add that depth and that intensity out on the outer half of the lid. And again, just blending that in with what we've already got down. And then in with that first fluffy brush to buff out that top edge, and also just guide this under edge here, just guide that out into the sort of shape that I'm wanting. But I don't want to buff out that colour too far. I do want to keep it quite intense on the outer corner. So I'm just alternating between applying the colour with that tiny little pencil brush and then buffing out the edges with the big fluffy brush until I'm happy with how all of that is looking, how it's all blending. I know it can seem quite like intimidating at this stage when you have all of this blue like under the eyes out here, but just try and ignore it, try and pretend it's not there. So I'm going to go in with my finger and I'm going to tap that Spring shade all over the inner half of the lid. And this has the most incredible like blue iridescent icy shift. I mean, I need to blend it out, but look how pretty that colour is. This just screams like winter to me. I absolutely love these bluey icy tones. So then once I've laid that colour down, going back over with that first fluffy brush, it's applying and blending, applying and blending. Really, really simple. But these eyeshadows, this formula is so easy to work with, and obviously you get like all of the colours that you would need for this look in just one eyeshadow palette. And this was £3.99. Bargain. So I'm just going back in with this darkest blue on the outer corner just to make sure that is as intense as I want it out there, and I think I'm happy with all of that blend. So I'm going to go in with a cotton pad with some micellar water on and do my usual wipe to create that sharp line on the outer corner. So I'm just going to tap over that line with my fingers slightly just to soften it a tiny little bit, but I'm going to follow that line with a liquid liner, and I'm going to be using the Profusion liquid liner as well. So Profusion eyeshadow and liquid liner, because this is my favourite liquid liner that I've ever tried. This is the Everlasting Waterproof liquid liner, and I'm going to do quite a dramatic wing because it's Christmas and I feel like it. So whilst I wait for that liquid liner to dry, I'm going to go in with an extra little step. Now of course you could leave this as a really beautiful blue, navy blue, icy eyeshadow look. I'm going to take it to the next step because it's me, but of course you could just leave it at this. So I'm going in with the NYX Epic Wear Waterproof Eye and Body Liquid Liner. This is in the white shade. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my mirror and I'm going to draw, first off, just some little dots all over. And then once I've got a few of those dots on, I'm going to just make some of these into tiny little snowflakes. So I'm going to take some of that liquid liner and put it onto an even smaller brush. So this is the Beauty Bay All in the Deets liner brush. I've been absolutely loving this brush recently. So I've got a little bit of that liquid on the end of this brush, and I'm going to make some of these into little snowflakes. I'm not going to be able to talk whilst I do this because I'm going to have to concentrate. A little something like that. So I'm going to just try and replicate that on the other side. Be right back. I've already been filming for over half an hour. Okay, so I'm happy with how that is all looking. Is it completely symmetrical? No. Did I want it to be? Yeah, sort of, but also I'm not like measuring things and trying to make it completely symmetrical. I'm going to go in with the Collection Glam Crystals Dazzling Gel Liner. This is in the shade Cosmic Stars, which is quite fitting because these do almost look like stars, and I'm just going to tap over a few of these with this glitter, which is obviously a completely extra step. All of this is, but it's Christmas and I like glitter. So I'm just going to use the applicator and tap over where I've done some of these bigger stars, and you absolutely will not even be able to see it on camera, but I know it's there and I like glitter. So subtle little extra step, but I really like how that has turned out. So I'm just going to put on a bit of mascara. This is the L'Oreal Air Volume mascara. I'm going to layer up a bit of this, and then I'll decide if I want lashes after that. I might just leave it at mascara. So that's the mascara on, and honestly I've just had my eyes open for so long putting that mascara on that now my eyes are bright red, but that will calm down. I'm going to be mixing foundations together today. These are two that I haven't used in ages, and I'm somewhere in between the colours of both. So this is the Body Collection Illuminating Liquid Foundation and the Body Collection Tinted Moisturiser. I'm going to mix these two on the back of my hand, sort of equal parts of each. So I think I'm somewhere in between. Perhaps a little bit light, but we'll see how it is once we blend it out. We can add more bronzer, we can add more concealer, we can absolutely make that worse. We have dealt with colours that are further away than that. So just dab this all over, and I will start blending this out with a brush. This is the Real Techniques Seamless Complexion brush, but I do also have a sponge here. Yeah, I don't think that colour's too bad. Something about that combination of products is really not working with my skin today. Oh, that looks awful. I have used those two together before and it's never looked like that. Can you see here how much texture that has picked up on my nose? I'm going to have to take this off and pick something else for a foundation. Be right back. Okay, let's try that again, but different foundation. I just don't think that those two were gelling together very well today. So going in with Old Faithful, the Revolution IRL filter. I try and do something different and it just doesn't like it. So taking one pump of that, again, the Real Techniques brush, and let's try it again. That looks so much better. So much better instantly. You know, you can tell, like, I was applying that, I was like, oh, I don't know if this is going to blend. But this never lets me down. Never ever. And I feel like I've ruined a new sponge day. What a waste. So all of that is nicely blended out. Very much happier with that foundation. So I will just pop a little bit more concealer under these eyes. Obviously with the blue on the lid, we want to make sure that there isn't any blue under the eyes where you look tired. And I'll just blend that out with the brush that I always use, which is the contour brush from Real Techniques. It's just the perfect size for fitting under the eyes, blends everything out really, really nicely. And I'm also taking that under that wing on the outer corner, making sure I've got nice and close to the brows, and that is looking 100 times better than it was approximately 30 seconds ago for you. Very, very happy with that. So I'm going to finish off the under eye. We'll go back in with the Profusion palette and a smaller fluffy brush, and I'll go in straight into that Rainfall shade. Look up into my mirror and wiggle that all the way along, really, really nice and close to that lash line, and join it up with what we've got on that outer corner. And then using the same brush, I'm going to go in with that Spring shade, just tap a little bit of that sort of on the inner half of the under eye, just to brighten that a little, to sort of mirror what we've got on the top. I'm going to be using something different for the inner corner highlight because this is a little bit blue, which I love. I do like that, but I want something a little bit different directly on the inner corner. So putting that more on the lower lash line, like so. And I will just put a tiny little bit of mascara on the lower lashes as well, because that's what I like. I always put mascara on the lower lashes. I will also just run a little bit of the Rimmel Scandalised Nude eyeliner. I'll run a little bit of that through the waterline, so it's looking quite red, like in comparison to the blue eyeshadow. And then we just need to add the colour into the rest of the face. So I'm going to use the same bronzer that I already used on the eyes. So this is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, and I'm going to use the Real Techniques blush brush and just start warming up all over the skin. This is such a beautiful like undertone, especially I find for this time of year. It's so subtle and it's not too warm, it's not too cool. The The only thing is I can't get over the scent. I really hate the scent. And then I'm going to use the same big old brush for my blusher. So this is the Collection Glow Blush in the shade Cherry. A really pretty pop of bright pink. And I'm going to keep this a little bit further back and a little bit higher up because it has that shimmer in it as well. Although I am going to be adding highlight today. I am going to be adding a lot of highlight. I am also going to add a bit of blush onto like the end of my nose, which is a technique that I did in the Cold Girl I'm Cold makeup look. I will link that up here. It's not something that I would do for like an everyday look because I already have a very red nose, but for something like this, like I'm not going to go out and about with makeup like this on, so I can add a pink nose. And then I'm going super icy for the highlight as well. So going in with the Revolution Satin Kiss highlighter. I've mentioned this on my channel before and I don't generally use this on my face because it is straight up white, but that's the sort of look that I'm going for today. So I'm going to swirl a tiny little bit of that onto my brush and add it right onto the tops of my cheeks, down the centre of my nose, all the usual places, but this is just so icy and it is a little chunky, but if you put the time in to really work it in, it does soften down a little. But it is very much that like blinding icy seen from outer space highlight from like 6 years ago that we all used to do, and it's sort of gone out of fashion. But I feel like for this look for this look it's acceptable. So down the centre of the nose, on the cupid's bow, just all the places. And I'm also going to take a smaller eyeshadow brush and put some of this on the inner corner. So I'm just loading that up on the inner corner and just blending it into that shimmer that I've already put on that sort of general area, but I just want it to be a little icier with this highlight. I am very happy with how all of that is looking. Like, you can see me from outer space, but I'm happy about that. So with the lips, I've got options. I brought over the L'Oreal Colorie Shine in Watermelon Plump, but I don't know if this will be too red. No, that might work. So I've just dabbed that sort of over the centre, and if I rub it in with my finger, yeah, like I just want that little bite of colour. I don't want anything too intensely red. Yes, that's better. So I've just sort of blotted over the outside with my concealer brush, and then I've got that red further into the centre, and I think I am done. Well, today was a roller coaster. Thank you for coming along with me for that one. Let me know what you think of this look down below. I really like it. I would wear something like this for like an event, for like a special occasion that doesn't require you to be too glam. You know, like if you're going to see Santa, that sort of thing. I would wear something like this. I really like how it's turned out, and that like subtle bit of shimmer is so pretty. But until next time, thank you so much for watching. Bye!